It's a program giving people hooked on heroin another chance.
And it's with the help of an injection that halts the addiction right in its tracks. Danica Lewis went to Sauk Prairie to learn more. And Danica, this all started with law enforcement?
Yeah, it did, and it certainly went up from there. The story, though, you're about to hear moved a police chief to tears. It then moved him to make changes to the way his community handles heroin, including introducing a miracle in modern medicine that is jump-starting recovery for so many.
This is Tony at age 11.
When Tom Kaiser pictured his little girl growing up, he saw an all-star on the court.
As a sophomore.
Someday a mom.
Her 06-07 picture.
But life didn't end up so picture perfect.
She was on the wrong side of the coin. It was tails for Tony, and that meant she became an addict.
As a high schooler, Tony was a promising volleyball player with everything to live for, until heroin became her reason to die.
And she had gotten out of treatment.
Even after counseling, Tony was stealing from the hands that fed her to feed her addiction. Kaiser couldn't take it anymore.
So I went in the house, and I grabbed a suitcase, and I filled it with clothes. And I woke her up, and I kicked her out.
After time in jail, Tony got pregnant.
And her little girl, Layla, was a heroin addict.
A few years ago, Tony came home for Christmas.
And that's the last time I saw her.
Kaiser flew to Arizona to look for a daughter he barely recognized.
And you look at that little girl, and you look at the pictures of her before, that sure didn't look like my Tony.
Within weeks of his search, Kaiser got a phone call from a hospital.
And that's where she died. All by herself, different name, all alone.
It was this face and that story that moved this man in uniform to do something.
There are really promising lives out there that can be saved through this project.
Sauk Prairie Police Chief Jerry Strunz can not only point to more deaths and overdoses, but also more heroin-related heists, 2 recent robberies at this pharmacy alone. That leads to more people in the Sauk County Jail.
And it was kind of like a revolving door, an endless cycle.
So Strunz decided this is where he would start, introducing an injection to inmates called Vivitrol. The fairly new drug biologically blocks off receptors in the brain, the ones that get someone hooked on an opiate high.
The brain essentially has been hijacked by their drug.
Dr. John McAuliffe is a family practitioner at Prairie Clinic and director at Sauk Prairie Hospital. He says recovering addicts only have to take a dose once a month, and so far, Vivitrol has very few side effects and very promising results.
It would cost them probably on the street probably $6,000 to override the shot to get the same benefit, so they just don't use. They don't use.
More than 30 Vivitrol recipients in Sauk County are now sober.
I think it's a game changer, and it will be a huge game changer.
Now, we got a long ways to go, and I'm not going to tell you that this is a silver bullet that is going to cure this problem, but if we have an impact on one person's life or one individual's life, I feel like we're doing something to really change the tide.
One life.
Things fell apart.
Like Tony's.
Spirit haunted. You feel like failure.
And at least one other dad.
That was a picture of her.
Who knows not who, but what is truly to blame.
We blame Tony, but in reality, we should have blamed the drug.
Tough to see there. While Vivitrol can kickstart recovery, addicts need other resources like counseling to stay clean, and that's exactly what the Sauk County-based CARE program is offering. I spoke to one woman whose life was turned around as a result, and the person responsible for the CARE program's success. You won't believe how their stories intertwine. That's all tonight at 10. We're also going to post the raw interview with Tom Kaiser on channel3000.com. His story and his message is so powerful, and I wasn't even able to get into some of the tragedies of his story. So I hope people go on channel3000.com and take a look at that if they can.
I was going to say, very powerful to watch that, and we look forward to your report tonight at 10. Thanks, Danica.
Absolutely.